आ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम Bodhi, we want to start with the Gita Dhyan, please. You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm muted now. पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां ज्ञानमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामितवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब तामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भगवद्देशिनम् नमस्तुते व्यास विशाल बुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायत पत्रनेत्र येन तया भारत तैलपूर्ण प्रज्वालित ज्ञानमय प्रदीपः प्रपन्न पारिजाताय तत्र वैत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वपनिषदुक्ता गोपालो नन्दनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर्भोक्ता तं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् भीष्मोद्रोण तथा जयद्रथचला गान्धार नीलोत्पला सर्वग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन बेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्ण मकरादुर्योधनावर्तिनी क्षोतीर्णा कुरु पाण्डवै रणनदी कैवर्तक केशवः पाराशर्यवच सहस्रं गीतार्थगन्धोद्घटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथामृतमबोधितं लोके सज्जन पेपीयमानमुदा भारतपङ्कजं फलप्रदं श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा रुद्रेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुवन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानवस्थित तद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः सुरासुरगणा तस्मै वै नमः।
ओम परमात्मने नमः। ओके, मीना जी, आप वर्सेस 10, 11, 12 चैप्टर 9 के जरा चैंट कर लीजिए। अनम्यूट कीजिए पहले।
मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृतिः सूयते सचराचरम् हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय जगद्विये अवजानन्ति मां मूढा मानुषीं तनुमाश्रितम् परं भावं जानन्तो मम भूतमहेश्वरम् मोघाशामोघकर्माणो मोघज्ञानाविचेतसः राक्षसीम् आसुरीं चैव प्रकृतिं मोहिनीं श्रितः.
So in earlier verses he has said Mayadhyakshena Prakriti. So under my direction. So this material energy also is nothing but me. It is something that I am projecting. In the Dvaitic schools, it is very interesting. In the Dvaitic school, the this projecting energy of Sri Krishna is called the Ahladini Shakti, the Shakti of enjoyment, Ahladini. Ahladini Shakti, the Shakti of his enjoyment. And it's a very interesting take on the entire philosophy is that his Ahladini Shakti is Radha, the Shakti of his enjoyment. And Sri Krishna, it is said that went away obviously from Vrindavan and went to Dwarka. Sorry. And he lived there. And he never met Radha again. He never met the gopis again. So, sorry. So he had sent Uddhav. And Uddhav had gone there trying to teach them Advaita Vedanta. And these gopis, they were fully in the Dvaitic mode of being in the love of their Lord and Master Krishna. So Uddhav comes back having become a devotee. And this entire journey, Radha is the Ahladini Shakti of is all the time crying. She is in Viraha. And this Viraha also is all aimed at merging. So when he came back and described this, then Krishna says, I have never experienced this Viraha. So I want to experience this Viraha because I have experienced the joy that Radha gives me. But what is this sorrow that itself also brings joy? Let me experience that. So he came back in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bengal. And in that avatar, he pined for union. He pined for the darshan of Sri Krishna. And in that he enjoyed and he got the feeling of what Radha would have enjoyed. So it's a story. But here we, digression, but it is essentially Maya Dhakshena Prakritim. My direction. Radha also moves along only with the direction of Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna being Brahman. Here I'm not talking of the playboy of Vrindavan, but a Brahman who is moving around with us in the form of our consciousness. So, and then he says that avajananti mam moodha. So in those who do not know me, who cannot recognize me, when in that case, what happens is that they continue to be entrapped by their own maya, by their own ignorance, by their own avidya, and they therefore continue to do a lot of efforts, but these efforts lead to rakshasim, asurim, prakritim, mohinim, shritaha. They become bewildered by their vasanas and their avidya, and they take on asuri or rakshasi pravritti. So from there we will move to verse number 13. Yes, please.
So, after seeing a few of these scriptures, it occurs to me that see, when we hear Rakshasa and Asura, we think of an ethnically different group of people, and also the movies tend to promote that kind of
starting with Amar Chitrakatha.
Yeah. So, but it that's very true. But the more I read in the scriptures, the terms Rakshasa and Asura are. It doesn't seem that they were ever meant to be ethnically different people, but characterally different people. That's all.
Yeah, of course. See, what is Ravan's lineage? Ravan's lineage comes from his female ancestress is the daughter of Kashyap Muni, and his male ancestor is a direct son of Brahma, Vishravas Muni. Right? He's a direct son of Brahma. So Puloma Rishi is, and his wife is Paulomi. Paulomi is Mandodari's name is Paulomi. She was from the Pulama Rishi. And so these were all people who were basically from a different character, not from a different ethnicity. Unfortunately, because of the, as you rightly said, in the movies and then the Amar Chitra Katha. So one interesting thing happened very, very long back, around almost, I think, around 20, 22 years back. I was coming back from Shabarimalai, and my son and wife were to meet me at Coimbatore. So when she came and met me, she was having a great laugh. So I said, what happened? So we had a wait over because we had to fly from Calcutta to Chennai, Chennai to Coimbatore. We had to take another flight. We had to wait for 3 hours. The moment we were waiting in Chennai, my son came to me and whispered in my ear, have we come to Asurlok? So she said, why are you saying this? No, so what he saw over there were all dark people with vibhuti on. बेचारा अमर चित्र कथा से कंडीशनिंग हो गया था, तो काले लोग जो संस्कृति विभूति लगा के घूम रहे हैं, तो असुर लोग. So you see how I think we have created that image. Asur means he has to have fangs and he has to have horns. That is a very Western orientation of a demon. We do not have such beings in our existence, in our, for that matter, Devi, in her ferocious forms. She is the one who actually manifests such things. She has long fangs. She has a tongue which is lolling with blood. She wears Mundamalini, Panchamundasani. She's sitting on corpses. She actually, Devi exhibits all those gruesome characteristics. Not the Rakshasas. Look at the Rakshasas. The Lanka was supposed to be Swarna Lanka, Swarnapuri. Right? Golden in color, golden with full of gold, full of treasures, full of opulence. So yes, please.
Then the word Rakshasa and Asura must have a meaning in Sanskrit, referring to that either the flaw in the character or something like that, something different.
Okay. So in the Rig Veda,
does it come from eyes, Aksha?
So when Brahma was sleeping, from his body, two beings emanated. One said, Rakshomi, protect me. And the other said, Yakshomi, give me food. So those who said, give me food became Yakshas. Those who said, protect me became Rakshasas. Right? Asura is a different word entirely. Asura is a Rigvedic word. Indra is called the greatest Asura. Indra is called the greatest Asura. Then Varuna is the Asura who rules over the waters. In later Puranic, when Sanskrit developed, Rigvedic Bhasha is not Sanskrit. I have told this before also. Rigvedic Bhasha is called Veda Bhasha. It does not follow Sanskrit grammar exactly the way we understand Sanskrit grammar. So therefore, certain interpretations can happen according to how you interpret Panini's grammar. However, when Sanskrit grammar developed, when it became a structured language, the word a added in front of a word makes it the negative. So asura, the word sura, was a subsequent addition to asura. And therefore the devatas became sura and those who were not devatas became asura. Again, another thing. If you look at old Persian, then what is the name of their deity, Zoroastrian deity, if you remember? He is called Ahura. Ahura. So in Persian, the sa is ha, which is why Sindh becomes Hind. Sindh becomes Hind. Sindhu became Hindu. That is how the origin of Hindu and Hindustan. Right? Ahura. Now make it into Sanskrit. Asura. The greatest deity is Asura. Right? Now, what do they look like? They are fair in color. They have brownish hair. They all have beards, which is curly. Right? Now, go to Bengal. and look at an old traditional painting of Durga killing Mahishasura, you will find that he is portrayed with reddish hair, with a beard which is curly, well-shaped beard which is curly, right? Because the Asuras were basically the Persians. And as they migrated, the groups led by Indra, when they migrated here, so the greatest enemy of Ahura Mazda is a person called Indra. So in the Zen Avesta, Indra is the evil. Whereas in ours, we call these people who were evil, we call them Asuras. So the conflict is basically a ethnic
Political.
movement. It's a political thing. It's a political thing, right? So anyway, so Asurim here, basically by this time the word Asura has already evolved to mean something which is negative. So the Asurim, Rakshasim, the Prakriti basically means the Prakritis which are negative, which are holding back. Now, if you look at the Puranas, if in all the Puranas, what is the nature of Asuras? Asuras and Rakshasas, they hold, they clench, they grab, they keep to themselves, right? Their egos are high. They are self-centered. That is how they have all behaved. That is how they have been portrayed. Now, if that allegory is looked at, then you realize that Asuras, basically, when Krishna is saying Asurim Pravritti, Rakshasim Pravritti, and we will have a whole chapter on Devasura Sampad. So that entire chapter, we will see this in detail. So here he is saying that if you are going to be self-centered, if you are going to be egocentric, if you are going to be captured by Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya, then you are going to be behaving like an Asura. That is what he's defining as an Asura, right? From here, then, we move to verse number 13. Mahatmanas tu mam partha. Mahatmanas tu mam partha. Devim prakritim ashritaha. Devim prakritim ashritaha. Bhajantyanyanya manaso. Bhajantyanyanya manaso. Jnatva bhutadim avyayam. Jnatva bhutadim avyayam. Mahatmanastu mam partha. Devim prakritim ashritaha. Bhajantyananya manaso. Jnatva bhutadim avyayam. With mind fixed exclusively. Bhajanti means worshipping, engaging in devotion. Bhajanti ananya manasaha. Manasa is the first creation. Once the creation starts, the Panchikaran, when we look at Panchikaran, the first creation is Manas. From Manas, the space comes. Taittiriya Upanishad verse in section 2, it clearly says from the mind, from the Atman, the Akasha was produced. So this, and then Akasha produced the air, and then air produced fire, and so on and so forth. So this whole process of creation starts with that particular thing which we are talking about here, which is in the mind. And there he says, Bhajanti ananya manasa, mahatmanas, mahatmanaha, maha atmanaha, great people. But me, Partha, Arjun, Deivim Prakritim, those who are looking at at becoming devas, or behaving like devas. Ashritaha, take shelter. Bhajanti, engage in devotion. Ananya Manasa, with mind fixed exclusively. Knowing Jnatva, Bhuta, entire creation. Adim, origin. Avyayam, imperishable. Knowing this entire creation to be imperishable, knowing this to be coming from me, they keep their mind only on me. Now, what is this Eka Bhakti? We have seen in chapter 7, we saw Eka Bhakti. Now we are seeing Bhajantyananyasmam. What is this? Okay, I'll ask a different question. What is love?
Feeling only.
But क्या है ये, किस फीलिंग को डिफाइन कीजिए?
Attachment.
Love is attachment. Okay.
it's a
Attachment.
subjugation of the self for the need of somebody else.
Very nice. Very, very close to what I define it as. When you put something else above you, when you put the need of somebody else above you. For example, I love my wife, so her needs are more important than mine. So therefore, I need to wake up at 4 o'clock, but I see her sleeping, so I don't wake up, or I make sure that I don't disturb her, and so on and so forth. Now, why am I doing this? Because her need, I believe, is more than mine, right? Now, when we do this, then there comes a hierarchy of love. Because I love my wife, but I love my son a little bit more. Right? And then when my son will have a son, then I will love my son's son even more. Eka Bhakti gets thrown out of the window. The Mahatmanas, what does he do? He understands that this hierarchy of love can only end when I have a love which is encompassing everything so much that everything is subsumed into it. And that can only happen when I have merged into that infinite. Because the infinite is me and loves me so much that he and I. So what is the consummation of love? The consummation of love is reciprocation. And in chapter 7, he said, in chapter 7, verse 18, 19, he said that such Mahatmanas who are Eka Bhakti, they are dear to me and I am dear to them. I am very dear to them and they are dear to me, which means there is reciprocation. So Krishna is very consistent here, and he says that those who have such people, they keep their mind completely focused on me, and they because they know that this entire creation that they see is nothing but a projection from me alone. To go to the next verse, Tatatam kirtayanto maham, Satatam kirtayanto maham, yatantascha dridhavrataha, yatantascha dridhavrataha, Tatatam kirtayanto mam, yatantascha dridhavrataha, namasyantascha mam bhaktya, namasyantascha mam bhaktya, nityayukta upasate, nityayukta upasate, namasyantascha mam bhaktya, nityayukta upasate, Tatatam kirtayanto mam, yatantascha dridhavrataha, namasyantascha mam bhaktya, nityayukta upasate. Satatam, always. Kirtyantaha, kirtyanta, singing kirtanas, singing glories, singing kirtanam, mam, me, yatantaha, trying, cha, and dridhavrataha, dridha, meaning with determination. Dridhavrataha, taking action with determination. Namasyantaha, bowing down. Namasyantaha, cha, and mam, me, bhaktya, with devotion. Nityayukta, constantly united. Upasate, they worship. So what he is saying here, these people who are the Mahatmana, they are, what they do are, they are always singing my divine glories. They are all the time singing about me. They are doing all the time, they are doing kirtan for me. And they are all the time striving with great determination. And they have no ego. They are always bowing down to me because they constantly worship me with love and devotion. What does this actually mean? Yes, please. Yes, Raghuji.
So this week when I was when doing my manan, one thing came to me. See, there is, it's kind of related to what we are talking about here, so I just want to touch on that. See, there is the Avatar Purusha who is born realized, and then there is the person who becomes realized during the course of a lifetime. Okay?
Yes.
But once realized, there is no difference at all between the Avatar Purusha and the realized person, right? I mean, they're both realized.
Yes.
It doesn't. So I just wanted to understand in terms of we always talk the Avatar Purusha, make them God and you make pictures and all that. Of course, we also do that to the realized people also later. But the fact is, once realized it, there is no difference at all anymore. They are both
So,
merged.
well, exactly. I mean, simple mathematics, isn't it? Infinity plus infinity is equal to what? Another infinity. You merge into infinity, there is nothing but infinity. Purnamadah Purnavidam Purnata Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Very clearly it is said. There is no question about that. What you have just now stated, absolutely that is the standpoint of the Vedas. The avataran is only for teaching. So when when the avataran is in a very ferocious form, for example, it is in the form of Sharaveshwara or it is in the form of Narasimha, in such ferocious forms also, it is only to teach. It is only to give a lesson. Despite that extreme ferocious form, which each roar of which was making the entire world tremble, even in that terrible form, how does the terrible form calm down? In the presence of bhakti.
So
And then
that is a very beautiful, the start of the Rudram. Namaste Rudram Manyava.
Correct.
See, the fact that we salute the anger. I mean, my father's elder brother who teaches Veda, he explained this beautifully to me once. He said that, see, when the father is angry at the son, he is not angry to hurt the son. He is angry because the son has done something wrong and to teach. If the son were to just focus on the anger and say, he is angry at me, the message will be lost. The message will be missed, basically. But on the first time, when I salute the anger, then the anger is out of the way. Now you focus on what is the message.
Correct. So and it very clearly also says, however, later on, Sahasra Yojane Tanmasi, it says, let the anger go away from me, 1,000 yojanas. 1,000 yojanas, it should go away. Right? So I don't want to be in front of your anger. Your anger can be very terrible. Your method of teaching is sometimes very harsh. So sometimes I want gentle teaching. So when I was growing up, I lost my father when I was young, but my grandfather never lifted his hand on me, excepting once. One slap I have got from him entire career, entire life. Other than that, but my mother used to break a lot of balance on my back. So actually break. She used to hit hard enough for the balance to break. And I always give this as an example also when we are talking in the corporate world, that when you love somebody, the punishment is also only, you know it to be a lesson. So when my mother was breaking that, what was I saying? Mummy, mummy. Right? Why? Because you know that your mother loves you. There is no doubt in your mind whether when the balan is being broken on your back also, there is no doubt, at the slightest doubt in your mind, that the love has been compromised. When we go back to our lives, when we complain about some things that have happened to us, we need to look at it from a perspective of saying, this is a lesson from my own karma. And if it is a lesson from my own karma, then all I need to pray for is the strength to be able to overcome it, or the strength to be able to fight against it. See, there is a story. One day, Krishna and one of his friends, they were in the forest, and they didn't come back in the evening. So Krishna said, let us spend the night in the forest itself. So no problem. So his friend's name was Sridama. Sridama, not Sudama. Sridama. Sudama was a friend in the ashram. Sridama was one of the gopas in Vrindavan. So Sridam and Krishna, they spent the night in the forest. And the agreement was, the first 4 hours you will stay awake. Second 4 hours I will stay awake, Krishna says. And then it will be dawn and we will go back. Very good. So the first 4 hours, Sridama is watching, and a demon appeared. And the demon appeared and it started walking towards Sridama. So Sridama started going back. So, and this demon became bigger. And he kept on going back. What do you want? What do you want? And he kept going back. He kept going back. He kept going back. And this demon kept on becoming bigger, 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 bigger. And became so big that Sridham got unconscious. And just before he was getting unconscious, he shouted out, Krishna! And he fell. Now Krishna woke up and he saw this huge giant demon in front of him. So Krishna now walked in towards that demon and said, what do you want? And the demon became a little smaller. And he again walked towards it. And in the morning when Sridham woke up, he saw this demon is a small like an ant and he's sitting in the hand of Krishna. Hey, where is that big demon? That big demon is here. What happened? I just walked towards it. I faced my problem rather than running away from it. And my problem became smaller. And I faced my problem because I knew that I have the strength of the divine with me. When I have the strength of the divine with me, I face every problem in this world. So all we require is that faith, that confidence, which is that comes from us when we study this Bhagavad Gita, and we realize that entirely this material projection itself is nothing but divine. Then what you are facing, which appears to be a problem, is nothing but a divine leela. It's nothing but a divine play. So he says here that kirtanam. So in kirtanam, now there is a very interesting thing here. Prahlad, when Narasimha was sitting on the throne of Hiranyakaship, the entrails, the large intestine, the small intestine was all over his body, right? And there were pieces of meat stuck in his teeth, and he was dripping blood. His nails had all blood on them and they were dripping. And with that rajas of Hiranyakaship's blood, the lion part of Mahavishnu had become enraged. And in that rage, he was roaring and the world was shivering. So Shiva told the Narad Muni, you are a devotee of his, go and calm him down. He said, I've never seen my Lord like this. Lakshmi Devi, you go. Lakshmi says, no, this is not my husband. Never seen my husband like this. And Prahlad has no hesitation. He just walks up there and he stands in front of the Narasimha Murti and he starts praising. And Narasimha Murti calmed down and put his hand on Prahlad, and then Lakshmi went and sat on the lap and so on and so forth. Narad Muni, who has written the Bhakti Sutras, he came and asked Prahlad, what is Bhakti? And he says, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Smaranam, Archanam, Padasevanam, and goes on to Atma Nivedanam. Right? 9 types of bhakti. Shravanam, listening about what is divine. Kirtanam, talking about what is divine. Smaranam, remembering what is divine. The 3 things that we are talking about is what is being mentioned right here. So in every action, everything that we do we actually say, number 1, this is happening, I am not the doer? Do we say, I feel and understand that this is driven by divine power, and then go even deeper and say, can I understand, can I feel, can I experience that divine power that is moving this entire thing? That leaf that is moving because there is some consciousness that is pervading it. This pervasive consciousness, the awareness of this pervasive consciousness is Satatam Kirtanam. This Satatam Kirtanam does not mean, people have interpreted that, especially I'm not denigrating anybody, but with the ISKCON interpretation, is that you have to sit down and do Hare Rama, Hare Krishna for 8 hours in your day. Now, if I have to do that for 8 hours in my day, and I also have to go to office and I have to sleep and I have to eat, one can do that if you have given up all these and somebody is taking care of you. But if you are not being able to do that, how will we do that? No, Krishna doesn't say that. Krishna doesn't say that you have to sit down, wear orange, take a mala in your hand, and only do Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. What he's saying is this Satatam Kirtanam means every word, every action, I am conscious of the fact that it is nothing but divine. Now, if I am conscious that it is divine, can I actually do wrong? Can I then be subdued by my vasanas? Obviously not. My vasanas cannot take over my understanding of what my actions are. because I am in control, not my vasanas. Yes, please.
You know the story of Narada with the bowl of oil?
Yes, of course.
Krishna points out to one person who remembers him thrice a day, once in the morning, once at noon, and once at night.
Correct.
And he says, he's my greatest devotee. And Narada says, how come I chant your name all through the day? I'm always this one. He says, okay, just take this bowl of oil and go around this temple once. The bowl is full of oil, not a drop should fall. So Narada goes completely, comes back and says, see, the bowl is full of oil. Says, in this time, how many times did you chant my name? Says, how is that? How is the oil not dropping? I did not.
See, that the idea is that even if I sit down for 15 minutes, and we've been talking about this 5 minute to 45 minutes, in that 45 minutes, how much time actually do I lose myself? That's all. So once one of my Guru Bhais, he went very heavy. He managed to sit for 1.5 hours one day. We were in Uttarkashi at that time. And he was so happy. He was very proud of himself. And he came and said, Gurudev, 90 minutes I could sit in meditation. Gurudev very smilingly put his hand around his shoulder, right? Pulled him near him and said, out of that, if it was 90 seconds of actual concentration, I would have been very happy. Doesn't matter. Sit for 90 minutes. It will happen. But that's the point, isn't it? 90 minutes we can sit. But out of that, where is our mind? Our mind goes all over the world. It has gone to Pluto and come back. So, therefore, he goes on to the next verse and he says, he's going to use the next word which we have to understand from chapter 4. Jnana yajnena chapyanye. Jnana yajnena chapyanye. Yajanto mamupasate. Yajanto mamupasate. Jnana yajnena chapyanye. Yajanto mamupasate. Ekatvena prithaktvena. Ekatvena prithaktvena. Bahuda vishvato mukham. Bahuda vishvato mukham. Ekatvena prithaktvena. Bahuda vishvato mukham. Jnana yajnena chapyanye. Yajanto mamupasate. Ekatvena prithaktvena. Bahuda vishvato mukham. Jnana yajnena. Do you remember in the 12 types of yagyas in chapter 4, starting from Brahmarpanam, there was this word which talked of Jnana Yagya, right? Vyasa Muni this is the first time in no other scripture talks of Jnana Yagya. Jnana Yagya word has been used twice in the Bhagavad Gita, once in chapter 4 and once in chapter 9. So, Jnana Yagyena, meaning, Yagya means what? Means offering. Offering of what? Jnana what? And therefore, what does Jnana mean? Jnana means removal of ignorance. Right? So, therefore, because Jnana is permanently existing. Jnana cannot be acquired. Jnana is already there with you. It is only to be removed. The Ajnana has to be removed. Right? What is the definition of Brahman? In Taittiriya Upanishad, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Jnana is Brahman. Brahman is pervading. It is already there. It cannot be removed. It cannot be acquired. So, when he says Jnana Yajnana, it basically means Ajnana Yajnana. Ajnana Swaha, Vasana Swaha, Ahambhava Swaha, Kama Swaha, Krodha Swaha. When you do that, that is Jnana Yajna. So when we do that Jnana Yajna, when we sit down and do that Jnana Yajna, cultivating that continuous mental strength to be able to live in that presence of divinity, knowing that everything that is happening around me is divine, chapa, cha, api, and also anye, others, yajanta, worship, mam, me, upasate, worship me, ekatvena, undifferentiated, Pritatvena, differentiated, Bahuda, various, Vishwato Mukham, in the cosmic form. So what he is saying here, Sri Krishna is saying here, is that various people follow various paths. As long as these paths are diligently followed with full concentration, with full devotion, whether you want to follow the cosmic form of, so Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to ask, do you believe in the Lord with form, or do you believe in the Lord without form? And the Brahmos, who were very prominent at that point of time, they would say, the Lord is without form, but with qualities. Right? He is merciful, he is compassionate, but he has no physical form. Brahmos were very influenced by the Christian methodology or thinking, and therefore they came with this. So Sri Ramakrishna used to say, very good, if you believe that, follow that. But follow that diligently, follow that continuously, follow that with satatam kirtayantaha. So therefore he says here that you have to be extremely diligent. It doesn't matter what is the form, what is the quality, what is the methodology that you want to use. We have seen this story of in the south, in Tiruvanikaval. There is this samadhi of a saint called Kannappa. Kannappa was a hunter, and he used to go hunting. One day he found a stone, oval-shaped stone, and something happened in him, and he fell in love with this stone. So he went and embraced it, and he said, "This I now know is my Lord." So he said, "I have to worship my Lord. How will I worship?" So he went into the forest. He killed a deer or a hare or something. He picked up flowers from the forest. Now, how will he give water? So he took water in his mouth, and he came to the shivling, and he poured the water from his mouth. He took the flowers from his own head, and he offered that, and he put that piece of meat in front of Shiva, and he went away. Now the pujari came, and the pujari was shocked. He can see dripples of saliva. The flowers have hairs on them, and there is meat over there. Shiva, 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 Shiva. He took Ganga water, cleaned the entire place. The next day, again, back to square one. This kept on happening. Now, Parvati was very interested to see what is happening over here. So Parvati went and told Shiva, which of these two is your greater devotee? So Shiva says, let me test them. So Shiva produced two eyes in the Shivlinga. And the Brahmin devotee, he was so pleased. Lord has opened his eyes. Lord has opened his eyes. आँख खुल गई भगवान की, मुझे देख रहे हैं. बोला नहीं कि आँख में से खून गिरने लगा. Blood started coming out. And this guy got so scared, he ran away from there. So now, Kannappa came. He came with all the same things, the flowers on the head, the water in the mouth. He saw this. He said, my Lord is having a bleeding eye. And immediately, he gouged out his eye with his arrow, and he replaced that eye. And then the second eye started bleeding. Now, how will he place that eye? He said, I will now take out my second eye and I will put it there for my Lord. But how will I know where to put that eye? So he said, okay, let me put my foot where the eye is. So पैर से चिन्ह बनाने के लिए, he put his foot on the shivling and put his arrow inside his eye to take it out when Shiva himself manifested with his wife and blessed him. And he is one of the 63 Nayanmars. He's called one of the 63 saints of Tamil Shaivite tradition. And there is a samadhi of his near Trichy. Bhakti is a feeling that where you understand that the greatest is manifest in everything, and every action of mine can be a worship. It doesn't matter whether the water is in the mouth or not. It is the intent of that water. But unfortunately, our mind would have wavered, and we would have tasted the water. The taste of that water, the smell of the flower would have come to us, and we would have got wavered. And we said, this flower is very beautiful. It is very beautiful to smell at. See, that is why, Parthoda, when you went to Srinathji and you smelt the flower, that flower could not be offered because your mind attached itself to the flower. That is why we do not offer something that we have tasted, because our minds are fickle. Our minds are not like Kannapas. So here when he says that it does not matter, it is what is the method of worship. Ekatvena, pritatvena, bahuda, vishwato mukham. Every form of this, every form that you see here, and every akshara is a mantra. Every akshara is a mantra. Amantram aksharo nasti, Suvasitam says. There, every akshara can become mantra. Every form can become a linga. And the worship, and even Krishna himself says, right? In later on we will see, he says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam. It doesn't matter how you worship me. With a leaf, with water, phala, yoma bhaktya prayachati. That which you give with devotion. That which you offer with devotion. So when we offer something without devotion, it is bhiksha. When we offer something with devotion, it becomes either dana or it becomes dakshina. See, even when dan is given, dan is not given like this. Dan is offered in a plate, right? It is offered in your hands. And the person who is receiving the dana, his hand is above yours. He takes it. And after giving dan, you have to thank him by giving him dakshina. Thank you for taking this from me. So our culture was so rich with these small nuances of how we have to behave. And that all of it comes from this particular learning, that everything is pervaded. Ekam sat, Rigveda says, Ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti. Those who are wise, they worship in various ways. Ekam sat, there is only one truth. And that is what Krishna is here saying. Ekatvena prithaktvena bahuda vishwato mukham. Every form is nothing but a form of the Lord. So we will end here. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.